Hey everyone, my name is Tony and welcome to another video. So most SketchUp models look flat and unrealistic, and that's because of one simple mistake: sharp edges. In today's video, I'll show you how one tiny detail can make your models more realistic. Let's get started. If you take a look at objects around you, you'll notice that they're not perfectly sharp. There's always a small bevel or round to its edges. So it is very important to add these details to your 3D models so they are close as possible to real life examples. Now, doing this in SketchUp has been pretty challenging because SketchUp's native tools are limited when it comes to this workflow. Let's take a look. So if I wanted to create round corners around this cube, I would have to use the arc tool to make that round profile around my corner. I would then select the top edges of the cube as my path and use the follow me tool to follow that round profile around those edges. And I will repeat the same process on the bottom side of the cube. But then if I wanted to do these vertical edges, the follow me tool has no workaround for that. In fact, if I wanted to really round all those four corners, I would have to find a different workflow for that. So I could still use the arc tool to create a round profile, but also round the corners of my path so that when I use the follow me tool, it gives me the round edge on every corner. But even after that, you will still have to do some cleanup and inspect so your shape has no weird openings. And although this workflow worked, you can see that I still have to spend some time doing a little bit of cleanup. And when I select to see my hidden edges, you will notice that there's some openings on my rounded corners that still need to be patched up. Not to mention that if I need to do any adjustments later, I will have to start over from scratch. So you can see with these examples that although they work, you can run into a lot of issues working with the native tools for this workflow. And while some of you may have better workarounds for this, we can all agree that it will take a long time to figure out round corners for more complex shapes. And that's the reality. We're not just dealing with simple shapes like this in real projects. We're dealing with complex furnitures, windows and door frames, kitchen cabinets, similar to what we have in this scene. So an extension like Bevel will be extremely useful in this case because it solves these specific workflows. Let me show you how. So the first thing you want to do is review your settings, make sure everything is the way you want it to be. I want to make sure that I am on the new arc rounding type. And after that, we're just going to start with a very basic bevel operation. So I'm going to round the corners around this picture frame. So first, select the entire object, select the bevel tool, and from here I can select the radius and the number of segments. So I'm going to leave it at 0 and 4 segments. And what I'm actually going to do is pick an edge so I can manually set the bevel radius. So I'm going to click once, and now you can see a little preview of my bevel. So this is about 1/4, and I'm going to do the next click to confirm. And just like that, we've added round edges to this frame. You can also see that the texture remains intact to follow the round corners. And if I click to see my round edges, you can see that it performed perfect rounding on our object. So that's example number 1. We can continue to do this on a couple of more shapes. So for the next example, we'll go over to this chair. It is modeled in components, so it'll be very quick to apply a bevel to all the pieces. So I'll select my shape, activate bevel, and this time we'll enter a value for 1/8 of an inch. 4 segments, hit enter, and that is done. Now keep in mind it's not taking long at all to perform these tasks as I move from one shape to the next. So it's a very simple workflow. I don't have to enter a value every time. I can just activate bevel and double click to repeat the last values I used. So I can also select all my edges one by one, activate bevel, and add rounding to those corners. Once again, while I'm in my preview, I can press the up and down keys to change the number of segments. Right now we are at 4. I can increase this to 6, 10 for better detail, or I can take this down to 1 if I want a chamfered edge. As you can see, bevel is very easy to use. It's as simple as selecting the edge or face and applying your bevel. No complex setup, and it is much faster than the SketchUp native tool. In this cushion part of the seat, I can be very accurate as far as the bevel applied to the top in relation to the bottom, and my model remains clean with no need for additional cleanup. Now, sometimes you have to do a bit of an inspection if bevel is not working the way it's intended to. For example, if I select the shape, select bevel, and then when I click to confirm, it doesn't look the way it's intended to. So first you want to look for extra edges in between shapes. So something like this could be the issue. So you may want to clean that up. So you want to look around for and make sure that things are connecting properly. So things like this you want to get rid of as well. And you might also want to use auto soften. So select your entire shape and use auto soften. As you can see, out of this entire selection is softened 64, and now everything should work as it should. I'm going to create a chamfer with this edge first. Use auto soften to clean up some edges, and then round the corner of the entire shape. So now I can go ahead and add round corners to the rest of this table shape by shape. As you can see, this is something that would have taken several minutes with the native tools, and I can do it in a matter of seconds with bevel. You can also use a Sketch Plus filter selection to help fine-tune your edge selection. This is a tool that definitely makes it easier for selecting different attributes in your 3D model. And another great thing is that we are creating clean bevels and round corners without overloading our model with unnecessary faces or edges. And this is very important when you're managing your SketchUp file size. So as you can see, bevel is an extension that makes your SketchUp workflow faster, cleaner, and more professional. It's essential for anyone who is serious about improving their 3D model. And even for render engines like Enscape that don't have a round corner feature, you can see how the round corners add a touch of realism and how light interacts with the object. And overall, it just helps to eliminate unnatural sharp edges. As you can see, a tiny bevel can make a huge difference. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And also leave a comment if you want me to cover more extensions that could level up your 3D models. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.